Transmission. It is November 24th, 2024, 00 hours. Is anybody out there? This is the Blue Iron Lion broadcasting from somewhere. Follow me back to a night in 1998 where I find myself standing on a line outside of a nightclub in Manhattan alongside two of my friends. I can't recall the name of the place, but I do remember being warned about its strict dress code. This wasn't the kind of spot where you could just show up in casual attire, as these random two guys were about to find out. It was like, don't come dressed in nothing less than a suit type affair. Now, at this time, I was out with my coworkers who were both older than me. I was age 20. They were 22 and 25, respectively. So I was the youngest in the group and wasn't used to an environment like this. Prior to that, I would check out underground, unofficial spots that weren't really restrictive. And even later on, clubs like Caribbean City on Empire Boulevard or the Elite Arc in East New York, they were more of a just no jeans, no sneakers type place. But besides that, I've never been to a club where you had to wear a suit. So yeah, we're standing in line and I was worried I wouldn't get in because of how strict their dress code policy was, among everything else. See, I was only 20 years old back then, and likely still today, women could get into clubs at a younger adult age, but men had to be at least 21. You would think obviously it is because the drinking age is 21, but I've been to spots where if you were under 21, they'd simply remedy that by putting a under 21 wristband on you. Old enough to party, too young to drink. That would explain how the younger women got in. No, I believe it also just made good business sense. They knew if women were inside, men would follow. Plus, beyond that, clubs didn't want the risk associated with bringing in too many younger guys, as it was well known that a lot of them didn't know how to act. So back to the line. Remember, I mentioned the two random guys that were on the line. They were ahead of us and were dressed rather conservatively, right? They had the slacks and sweater vests, kind of like the Mr. Rogers look. Seemed decent enough, overdressed even, for compared to the spots I was used to going to. But as the bouncer made his way down the line, he ended up kicking those two guys off, indicating they weren't dressed good enough. And now, at that point, I'm starting to feel uneasy. I had gone all out, dressed in a suit, and I'm standing there thinking, if they're this strict, there's no way they're letting me in on that age restriction. I took a chance in the first place, knowing the age situation, but by the time I got there, I wasn't ready to be denied entry anymore. When we finally get to the front, my two boys start to go in ahead of me. I handed the bouncer my ID, and he looked at it, then at me, and then behind me. I found out later from my boy that he had actually asked the girls behind me if I should be let in. They nodded, and that's how I got through. It was the suit. The only suit I owned at the time, which still fit me because I was a slim guy. An all-white suit, like Mr. Rourke from Fantasy Island, only was paired with a sky blue shirt and a matching tie. And let me tell you, it was a game changer. It actually was night and day compared to my usual club bar experiences. I had women coming up to me even, asking me to dance. I ended up having an absolute blast on the floor. And back in the day, the clubs I used to go to were a different vibe. You'd see guys and girls dancing together. It was just how it was. I've heard that's not as common now, but maybe that's an exaggeration. Back then, it was a little game. You'd see a young lady dancing, stepped up to her, and either she'd pull away with a no, or she'd dance with you for a time, or for the night. It was all part of the experience, but these days, I don't know if you could approach someone like that without it being seen as unsolicited. It's been decades, so anybody out there that can set the record straight, feel free. Anyway, that night I stood out. I was the only one in there rocking an all-white suit with that pattern and color. And I wasn't even trying to make a fashion statement. It was just the only suit I had. To this day, I'm still not sure what occasion I originally bought it for, but it worked. The energy was amazing. The ladies were vibing with me, and we all partied the entire night. Even the next day at work, we were talking about that. One of the best memories I've had at a social event. You know, reflecting on that night, I wasn't a bad-looking guy, especially back then, being so thin. I'd call myself being vampire handsome. Yeah, vampire handsome. And particularly with that suit, altogether, I was casket sharp. Don't let me gas myself up too much. Compared to that, afterwards, a night at a not-so-fancy, no jeans, no sneakers club was like a night at the Roxbury from Saturday Night Live when it came to interacting with the opposite sex. Like you, me, him, me. But yeah, different setting. That was my first taste of how much image makes the man. Time and place. For example, back in the day, I'd humor that whenever I went to Canada, it felt like I had a magic powers out there talking to women. Of course, keep in mind that these trips were usually during big events where everyone was already in a festive, upbeat mood, so that helped. You know, people are on vacation. They're there to let loose and have a good time. Not only that, but back then, being from New York City carried a certain mystique. If I was chatting up a young lady and she found out I was from New York, that was like a bonus. It added to the allure. It was a whole vibe. Oh, Canada. Pretty much anywhere, especially outside of New York City, a woman met me, I was a hound dog like Presley. Bars, but respectful. I said something corny one time like, I like your chain, or that necklace really matches the twinkle in your eye. Along those lines. The woman I told that to looked as though she wanted to laugh and turned away, so I stepped off, figuring, well, that was it. As I sat at another table with my bro, I noticed she would periodically glance in our direction. So eventually I went back over and asked, where's the party at? And we hung out. This is like circa 2002. Time and place. But now take the gym. Have any of you out there ever heard that the gym is a good place to meet people? I don't know. Personally, I've never thought it was an appropriate setting to approach someone. Maybe it's just me. See, the gym is like my sanctuary, a place to get strong, to focus, and to work on the physical self. Everyone there is usually in their own zone, also focused. In fact, I remember witnessing a young guy try to approach an already unapproachable looking young lady in the middle of her workout and was shut down so hard that you could feel the vibration throughout the gym floor. Yeah, she pretty much just looked at him like, do you not see me working out here? Completely annoyed, which I can understand. No lie, I never saw that dude in the gym again. So when I was growing up, there was a time when kids were literally killing each other over a pair of Jordans. I believe they went for around $120 or so, which seemed absurdly expensive at the time. Or how about those triple fat goose jackets? Another status symbol back in the day. And I totally understand the sentiment of who cares when it comes to those material items, right? Who needs to wear all that just to impress people? And I can understand that because to this day, I'm more of a jeans, sneakers, and hoodie kind of guy. Comfort always won over showing off for me. Yet, at the same time, I can't deny that appearances do matter. Yeah, material status shouldn't define you totally, but the reality is how you present yourself affects how you're perceived. I like comfort, but I wouldn't show up to a job interview in a hoodie and jeans, right? The way one dresses sets expectations. You know, like a guy walking into a store in a suit isn't going to be perceived as a potential shoplifter versus the person rocking sagging pants and streetwear. It's not fair, but it's just how things are here. I'm all about not judging a book by its cover, but in this society, we don't have telepathy. Cover is all we can go by. So while it's fine to stay comfortable in your own skin and relax at home, hit the Xbox, there can be value in striking a balance, right? So, should the mood ever strike you to step out and be social, you'll find that dressing the part could make a big difference in how you're perceived. Now, I could be outdated. Social media has changed a lot, but I doubt things have shifted so much that appearance no longer matters. Grooming, for instance, is huge. I've been made privy by a few women I know that things most guys might overlook or gloss over, the condition of your shoes, the wrinkles in your shirt, the dirt under your nails, the stains on your teeth, etc., can stand out big time. Now, when you meet up with your homeboy, you're not checking his nails or his teeth. But trust me, women notice those details, especially during first impressions. The takeaway is simple. Your success in social situations often depends on the time, place, and circumstance. What works in one setting might bomb completely in another. So timing, presentation, circumstance, they are key for anybody out there that care to listen. End transmission.